discovered the self-image. Dr. Maxwell Maltz discovered the self-image concept as we know it today. In 1960, he was a plastic surgeon. And he realized he was operating on people. He may remove a nasty scar from their face. And he noticed sometimes when he removed the scar or maybe did a nose job on them or something, there was a great psychological change took place in the person. Where they may have been introverted, they started to become very gregarious and outgoing. And he postulated that there must be two images that we have, an exterior image, and we also have an inner self-image. Mm-hmm. And he started to study this, and he wrote a magnificent book on it called Psycho-Cybernetics. Mm-hmm. And psycho-cybernetics, psycho being the mind, cybernetics being the science of control and communication. And he goes into this, and he explains how every one of us has an image in our mind of ourself, and it's called a self-image. Too many people don't know much about themselves, and so they don't have a very good image of themselves. And you'll often notice that people will shy away from you. They won't look you in the eye. They'll look down or look up. They'll never try to do anything of any great consequence because they don't think they can. They have a poor self-image. But yes, if we're told we're not very good, you're just like your dad, you're a bum, you're never going to do well, you didn't go to school, you can't win. That's all false. We can do anything, and we should be encouraging a child. Give them a pat on the back rather than a kick.
Okay, how can we improve it? Something specific. How can we go about making our self-image more positive?
Well, if a person would sit down and let their body relax, totally relax, and build the image in our mind of how we'd like to see ourselves. Mm-hmm. How we'd like to see ourselves acting in life, relating to other people, our social life, see ourselves in the position we hold, or how we make our sales presentations if we happen to be in selling or something. Mm-hmm. And then take that picture and describe it, write it out in the present tense. I am so happy now that I see myself, and write it out. Now, a lot of people will laugh at this and say, that doesn't make any sense. It makes a lot of sense. They can't tell you why it doesn't. I could spend hours telling you why it does, and I could explain it in such detail that everyone would understand it. But write out a description of how you'd like to see yourself. Start to read it, and read it, and read it, and read it every day. Carry it around and keep reading it. The one point that all the great teachers, all down through history, have all agreed on, they've been in complete unanimous agreement on it, we become what we think about. Now, it may be fantasy at first, it might even appear to us as being a lie. Mm-hmm. But if you read it often enough, you'll start to believe it. And when William James said, believe and your belief will create the fact, you will see the person's personality change. I watch people in the seminars, personality change right in front of my eyes. And all they're doing is starting to see themselves different. They're starting to think different thoughts.
Good morning. Welcome to Saturday morning. Fabulous Saturday. What did Sue call it? Satisfying Saturday. Welcome everybody. You're 6 days in. Bravo. You're still here. And it takes a lot to prioritize ourselves and our own growth. So really take that as a win for yourself. Now, I want to just address something that some of you are probably sitting here thinking, I'm already pretty successful. Guess what? I was too. But there were areas in my life that I desperately wanted to change. Now, I've told you about some of those, but being good in business didn't change that. What shifted was when I learned how to think. What has shifted for you this week? I want you to write in the chat. What has shifted for you this week? Oh, how exciting. Shay's off to Fiji. So good. Oh, hello, Cleta. So I just want to, while you're writing that in the chat, I just want to remind you that we have a Zoom like 10 minutes after this one finishes. I'm just going to announce yesterday's prize winners. Now, these are the people, like, I want you to think, when you take action, you change the results. These people took action yesterday. So, of course, Mickey Wilson, first in, always. And I want you to really see that the reason Mickey is streams ahead of other people in his business and in his chosen path is because he takes action straight away. No hesitation. Don't let your mind talk you out of it. Just take action. Navina, I didn't say your last name. I didn't write it down, but you know who you are and you're here today, so that's great too. Fiona McKenzie, you know what you've done. Richard Champion, he started with us last week and he just jumped straight in and did a live. Great job. And Carol Vesna, you did your live yesterday too. So well done. And like you talked about your money. It is one of the biggest things is to be vulnerable. And it was one of the things that I was so afraid of. When I first started, I would be the person at the back of the room, like, please don't pick me, please don't pick me. I'd be on Zooms, I wouldn't ask questions, I wouldn't even put my camera on. So I know, like, how sometimes it can be so scary. But if nothing changes, nothing changes. You cannot let that old, and it is outdated, version of you, and it's not going to get you where you want to go. So remember that everything comes down Monday evening at 8 p.m. and you've got to send me your email, like you've got to email the address in the portal with your physical address. I actually send things out in the post so that you've got something physical to remind you of the changes that you're making this week. Now, we've spent 5 days looking at what's been running your show. Today's the last piece, and it's probably the most important piece of this whole week. Because underneath your habits, underneath your beliefs, there's an image of you. And it's a picture that you hold in your mind of you. And guess what? You will never outperform that picture, but you can upgrade it. My very first training was in Toronto in September 2019. And one of Bob's top coaches that had been with Bob for a few years hopped up on stage and presented what she called, I wrote her and I became her. Good job, Shay. Sharing fears publicly. Good job, Sue. I'm just reading what you've changed this week. The way I see paradigm and money has changed. The way I look. Oh, wonderful, wonderful, Navina. Now, so she got up on stage and she said, I wrote her and I became her. Now, her results that she used to have were a lot like mine. She had like the same type of marriage. She had the same sort of family issues. She had a child that she wanted to be different for. And I thought, it really can't be that simple. I write her and I will become her. And I'll be honest, you can't just write it and you'll become it. It does take work. But I thought, if she can do it, then I can. We're all working on this same program here. We're all got the same process to go through. But I'm going to give you how I did it. The first thing that I had to do was write a list of all the areas that I wanted transformation, that I wanted change, that I didn't want anymore. I just wrote them out, like yelling at the kids, being snappy at Craig, blaming others, not taking responsibility. Just like, and it wasn't pretty. It wasn't in order or anything like that. It was just like a brain dump. These are all the things that I wanted to change. I did have a bit of a weight problem back then too that I just wanted to change as well. So it was all just a bit messy. Then we've got to find the difference. So then next, what I had to do was on a clean sheet of paper is write down all the things that I wanted to do instead, or the differences that I wanted. So remember, I wanted to be a calm and responsive mother, wife, and business owner. So I made like pictures, like wrote pictures, like, you know, we describing who I was in all those areas and what I did, or what I thought I should have done instead of what I did there, which I sort of said to you the other day when, you know, I came home and the kids had the house tied up. Change who or how I turn up as a mum. Then I turned it into a whole story. Now, you are so lucky. You've got AI these days that you can put all these things in and say, hey, can you give me a beautiful story here? And then you can just keep working with it. I had to write mine out myself, and it was a few pages long. But I wrote it as a story and a piece that was now. Not what I wanted to be like and I wish I had it. Like, this is what I do now. This is who I am now. And I was telling it like it had already happened. Then I got my phone and some AirPods and I recorded it. I use an app called Voice Loop, and I recorded it. It went for about 5 minutes. And it, like the one I've got now, it goes for about 4.5 minutes. And so I put AirPods in my ears. But the one thing that you have to do is you have to put the emotion in. Like when you're writing this, like it's great to get AI to write it for you. Then I would sit there and write it out again. Because it has to be in your words. It has to be you. And it has to have the excitement in there. It has to have the joy. It has to have like that sense of achievement that you know you're going to feel when you do these things. So your voice has to portray that emotion. So you can't just read it like, I'm so happy and grateful now that blah, 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 blah. You're like, oh my God, I am so happy and grateful now that this is who I am and this is how I turn up and this is how I dress. And like, I just went to town on everything. And I listen to it every day. The reason I have a couch here is that, and anybody that's ever came here and worked with me, you can ask Valentina, I put AirPods in it for 20 minutes at least each day. I lay there and I listen to it. And at the same time, I use my imagination to see it all happening. There was a part in there that I said, I have a Porsche Cayenne in Adelaide and I have a Lexus with red leather in Catherine. And that's what happened. And then I decided it's way more fun to bring the Porsche up here than keep it down there that I only sort of ever drove around the city. So I changed the script. But understand that if you play it long enough, just like Bob said in that clip, whatever you think about, you bring about. And remember your RAS factor. It is going to start to change and filter out what you're not thinking about and only bring to you what you're thinking about. So if you're not getting the results out there, you've got to look to what you're thinking about. So I play this thing and I would do at least 20 minutes a day. In the morning as I'm getting ready, I would put it in. At the evening when I'm like doing my little routine that I do before I go to bed, I would listen to it. And then in the physical sense of like in this world, I would do do-overs. So every time I was conscious that I hadn't done what I had been saying and listening to, I would change and do those things. So if I yelled, I would like, hang on, sorry, stop, let's do that again. I'd hung up on people on the phone at the workshop, and then I would, okay, that was not what I wanted to be. That is not who I am. So I bring them back and apologize. I read it over and over and over, and I listened to it over and over and over again until I changed. So I wrote her and I became her. Now in the book Psycho-Cybernetics, which I showed yesterday, if you're not in the my Facebook group, you can go in there and I showed you all the books that I sort of study and use a lot of. Psycho-Cybernetics, written by Maxwell Maltz. Now in his book, just to cut it short, he tells that he would change something. So he was a plastic surgeon and maybe he cut something off somebody's face, or he did something to them, or took off some scars or something like that. Some people would change and some would not. Like their attitude would change, their confidence would change, but others, it did nothing for them. So then he started to think, well, there must be two versions of us. There must be somebody, like there must be a version of us that we hold like in our mind, and then there's the one that we project to the world. And he thought, well, I can change the one that they project to the world, but if we don't change the one on the inside, then like there's discord there. And, you know, I think you can feel this when somebody says, I'm really confident, and then like they're a bit humped over, or they can't look you in the eye, and or they couldn't get up and speak and stuff like that. Like there are two versions of you. What you want to do is get them in alignment so that you turn up like the vision that you have of yourself. And the way that we do that is doing do-overs and changing how we respond and react, how we think about ourselves. And just remembering that your self-image is formed by the time that you're 6 years of age. So it's quite juvenile. You've probably seen somebody have temper tantrums and you're just like, what the, really? Because it was formed there, and then they've created this picture. This is what I hear and I do this. This is what I see, I do this. It's programmed in. And you know, you didn't build it. You inherited it. You watched the people in your environment around you. And even though you don't want to be that person, there, because it's in your subconscious mind, there's nothing you can do sometimes to stop it unless you become conscious of it. And you know what? We spend our lives trying to figure out what other people think of me, or what other people think of you. I wonder what they're thinking about me to say that. I wonder who they think I am. Now there's one little saying that I love. I am not who I think I am. I'm not who you think I am. I am who I think you think I am. So I was a different person all over, like with all the people that I interacted with. When I interacted with my mum, I was a certain way. Sometimes walking on eggshells, just wondering like, I'm better shut up and just do this, don't cry, don't do this. Like there was that persona. Then with my dad, I was another person, fun and like being able to say whatever I was doing, no judgment. Then I'd be a different person with my kids, like always thinking, oh my God, whatever they do is a like representation of how I am as a mother and how good I am. And if they do something wrong, then it's reflected on me. There was just so many different versions of me that I lived in a place of confusion. And, you know, before I would go anywhere, I'd have to have a drink just to shut down the noise. It's like, if you walk in with that dress, what's this person going to say? And what's this going to do? I couldn't be me. And I didn't even know who me was. So I had to find her. And I had to sit there and like, this is what this lesson is all about. Sit there and go, okay, who do I want to be? I want to be able to walk into a room and hold my head up high without having to drink. I want to be able to turn up early and not be like thinking, oh my God, blah, 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 blah. What are they saying? I wanted to get rid of all of that. When I let all of that go, the only question was, who is Polly? And how does she want to turn up? So I don't have to watch my tongue. And I don't have to walk on eggshells. Then I made affirmations. Now remember, you can't just go and make affirmations and not change who you are. Like you need to have the idea. The picture is worth 1,000 words. You've all heard that. A picture in your mind of who you are and who you want to be and how you want to turn up is priceless. You got to build it though. Now, I have this little affirmation and I send it to some of you. when I first started it, like when I first built it, now look, I'll just show you. I have a mirror that sits here. It's a bit dusty, isn't it? Sits here on my desk so I can see myself. And every morning I get in here. Now this is how I used to do it. I'm so happy and grateful now that I'm a winner. I am worthy of the good that I desire. I love myself. I'd be whispering it. Because Craig used to get up around the same time as me and he'd be out there in the lounge room doing his thing. And I'm in here whispering. Because I was so afraid of what he would think that I'm talking to myself. Now, I really don't give a shit. It's like, I am so happy and grateful now that I'm a winner. I am so worthy of the good that I desire. I love myself. I wake up every day and a feeling of confidence comes over my body. Every moment my mind is conditioned to find the things that I am successful at. I can see success all around me from what I have created. I believe in myself. I believe in my infinite potential. I love myself, and every day I love myself that little bit more. I am a winner. Now, I have that memorized. I know it off by heart. If I'm sitting in traffic and I'm like my thoughts go somewhere, it comes in. When I'm about to walk into some place, it's like, nope, that just comes in. And I can just say it in my head now. It's just like, oh, I am a winner. Oh, yes, that's right. I am a winner. Now, I've had a lot of people give me feedback to say, oh yeah, it's a little bit wishy-washy and a little bit of woohoo, Polly. And then I go and spend some time with them. I go to their place for dinner. So mostly this is people that are close to me. And then I walk into their bathroom. They've printed this out and it's on their mirror. Or they've got a texter on the mirror and they've written, I'm grateful for, and blah, 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 or whatever they've got going there. I'm like, okay, that's cool. Awesome. So we do things in secret. Out here, the physical results, that's our looking glass. That's telling you what you've been emotionally involved in, what thinking. We've got to be conscious, like I said to you, consciously competent at doing these things until it just becomes our second nature, becomes the habit. Another thing that I do is I borrow feelings. Like I said, when we did fear and faith, they're both emotions. So I look for areas that I have confidence and that I have faith and that I don't worry about the how. Like my car in the driveway, I don't worry about how it's going to get there. I already know it's there. So like I can go, okay, just get rid of that. Or the sun is going to come up in the morning. I have absolute faith of that. I borrow that feeling and I put it into my goal. And every time I think of my goal, I borrow that. And so when you write and record and you listen to the new you, the person that you know you're capable of, you'll then be faced with things that you do that is not that. That is not failure. Don't beat yourself up. All you do is have the do-over. Time out. Stop. Walk away. Come back. And it's supposed to happen. What's important is once you realize what you do in that next 30 seconds, that's the most important. Don't discount that. So if you realize, and it could be an hour later, you're like, oh, I should have done this. Do the do-over. Call the person, send them a text, ring them up, whatever it needs. Like go into their room if it's your kids. Go in and say, this is what I wish I had done. You know, we used to have this Polaris Ranger and we'd go out on weekend rides with a group of people. Now, I'm only 5'1", and like, so these Rangers, the driving's on the left-hand side, and because I'm short and you can't really get the seat close enough to the pedals so I could like reach them like I can in my car. So I want, like, this was one of our first sort of drives, and Craig had been driving. I'm like, man, I want to have a drive. Come on. I'm like, righto. So I hop in, and it's rough riding, right? You're going over rocks and you're in the scrub. And so when you go over a bump, like my foot would come off the accelerator and then go back down, and we go flying first forward and then stop, like not stop, but slow down and stuff. And because it's on the, like you're driving in the left-hand side, my depth perception was a bit different on that side. So I had plenty of room on my side of the car, but these mob were like hitting the trees and stuff. Well, Craig just lost his shit at me. He yelled at me, like, once we stopped and stuff, because, he made me stop. He's like, stop the fucking thing, and he's just going off at me, and I'm like, okay, right. Now, old Polly, she would have just attacked right back, but I'd been working on myself, right? So I was just like, okay, radio. And then a bit further down, I thought, what the hell's going on there? Like, I'm trying to figure it out, and I'm just like, and he's trying to take over driving. I'm like, no, I'm going to get this. Like, I'm not giving up. I'm not just going to give it back to you. I want to get this right. Anyway, we pull up at the next stop, and one of the other fellas goes, because his son was driving, he's like, man, it's a bit tough when they can't reach the pedals, hey, and you bloody go flat out and you slow down and this and that. And I'm just like, thanks for putting that into words. I didn't know that's like, I knew it was happening, but I couldn't explain it. And when he explained it like that, I'm like, that was me. That's exactly what was happening. So then when we're driving home, I said to Craig, because he'd calmed down a bit by then, and I said, now, honey, do you think that maybe the reason you got so mad at me was because you had no control, and that, like, the things that I was doing were maybe scaring you? And he's like, absolutely. I was so effing scared, and da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, yep, okay, cool. I said, well, I'm sorry that I put you in that position. It wasn't intentional. It was like, I didn't know that was going to happen either. I said, maybe in future we could get a pillow or something so I can put it behind my back so it can move me forward a bit. He's like, yeah, okay. And then he was like, yeah, rightio. Okay, I understand now that, like, that's what I do when I'm in fear. But, like, how cool is that? Like, I was so impressed with myself that I'm like, yes, I kept my cool. And we got to have a discussion and work out a solution. Like, for me, that was amazing things. But we have to become conscious of some of the things that we're doing. And, if I had have yelled and screamed at him, I would have had a do-over. But he had a do-over in the car too, and he's like, yes, okay, so next time maybe I just go, okay, you're scaring the shit out of me, what can we do to solve this, rather than just, and I said, oh, well, that's a good thing. Like, we're both growing, honey, this is good. But habits are vibrational. And when you take out a habit, if you don't consciously replace it with a habit on a different frequency, the same level of frequency habit will come and take its place, because you can't just delete something out of your mind. You have to replace it. So, like, one of the things that Bob always told us was that he was a bit of a drinker, and he'd be at the pub every afternoon, and then one day he looked around and he thought, oh, everybody here's a bums, like, they're all bums. He said, so that must make me a bum. Right. So he stopped drinking, never touched another drink. But what he did was just walk across the road and into our version of a TAB and start gambling and the casinos. So all he did was just change on the same level. So then he thought, actually, what I should be doing is changing to something that is going to get me closer to my goals, not keep me on the same frequency. So you have to be conscious there. And there's like, I just go the 3 rule. So I've got 3 seconds. I can just hang on, slow everything down, take a few deep breaths. Or I can do 3 minutes, 3 hours, 3 days. Like, I just go, okay, wait for the emotion to subside. Look at this rationally and logically, not letting my paradigm rule me and react. And delete the drama. So just look for the data. Look for the actual information. Don't get involved in the drama. So that's what I was doing, filtering out. And yep, he's cranky at me, and I could be bloody cranky back. No, Why would he be cranky at me? Oh, because he didn't have control and he was in fear. So his fear reaction is to want to take control over things. Like, okay, rightio. Like really start to work through deleting the drama out of things and just focusing on the data. Just one little reminder here. When you worry about something, it's negative goal setting. Whatever you worry about, you are creating a picture and you're putting energy into it. And if you hold a picture and an emotion for 17 seconds, another one joins it, and then another 17 seconds, another one joins it, and before long, it's really quickly, and you've got momentum in the wrong way. You've got momentum going away from your goal. One thing that always serves me is, will this get me closer to my goal? Will this decision get me closer to my goal? Will this, if I do this, will it get me closer to my goal, or will it take it away? And it just helps me make decisions, because I make decisions pretty quickly and I want to keep that going. So that's just the question. Will this help me get me closer to my goal? Will this help me make the changes that I want in my life? Will this da-da-da-da-da? Like when you go from there, it's so easy to make decisions, and you make decisions that are going to get you there. Now, the way that your new self-image is expressed is through your personal standards. Now, I did talk about a couple of those yesterday with money. Like if you're just focused on the money, then your standards may be that you'll just work with anybody or you'll have any client sort of thing, even if they're disruptive. And that sometimes is a bit of low confidence as well. So our standards help us rise. So we look for areas where we can raise our standards. So here are some of mine. When I wake up, I get up. Now, that works with anything. If an alarm goes off and I wake up, I get up. If I wake up naturally and it's a few minutes before the alarm, I get up. Because, you know, your body is just going to start waking up for things. I look for the good in every day. So before I go to bed at night, I just look for, okay, what was really good tonight? We do this at dinner time each night. Just like, okay, what was your best for today? What was your good today? Like just looking for the good. I only start positive conversations. I don't talk about anything that's negative. I don't let it in. And when people start, I have this other little thing. I walk away from things that no longer serve me, grow me, or make me happy. And now that has been relationships, that has been friendships, that has been food, that has been coaching, that has been all sorts of things. If it's not going to serve me, grow me, or make me happy, I walk away. I dress for the success that I want. Now, if you decide what it is that your goal is, so and it can be different in all sorts of areas. Like you want to go and do your gardening and you don't want to get sunburnt, you dress for that. You have a hat on, maybe a long sleeve shirt, like that's dressing for success. And you never know who's watching. Those of you that are in the coaching industry, you turn up like you want your clients to turn up, like you want the world to turn up, and that's your best. So I do my best every single day. Some days I can do better than others, but I do my best. I choose my attitude, and that does show in how I dress, how I walk, how I talk, how I turn up. And my best one is I laugh and have fun every day. Now that's just mine. There's just a few of mine. I've probably got a whole list of them. And you know, when I hire people, I have standards there. When I let people into my group, I have standards there. When I do this, I have standards there. When I talk to my kids, I have standards. Like they govern who you are. So today's task is I want you to write yourself some new standards and post them in the Facebook group. The task is to write 5. If you write more than 5, good on you, because it's going to help you. If you write 5 and post them in the Facebook group, I will be drawing those on Tuesday after this all comes down. So you've got some time. I know that there's some of you here that are catching up. I'm giving you the chance to catch up and still get some prizes. And now your standards also help you know when you've fallen back into old patterns, because they, like, come on, some of us have been going one way. Like, I was going one way for 43 years before I turned around, or 44 before I turned around. So I have like lots of patterns. You can't change them all at once. You just work on a couple at a time. Now, I also know that there's probably some of you sitting there now, Polly, this is all well and good for you to say, just like Sue used to, but you don't know my situation. You don't know where I'm at, and blah, 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 blah. So I'm going to show you something that we recorded earlier on this year. It's an interview that I had with Andy. Now, Andy used to be in my team of Limitless Ladies. She has since moved on this year because all her goals are starting to really come true. And she's like, Paul, I don't have time to work for you anymore. Is that okay? And I'm like, that's perfectly fine. This is what I want for you. I want you to be out there doing what you want, not trying to keep other people happy, going after your dreams. So Andy lives on a cattle station in North Queensland. She's a mum of 3. She's got 2 twin boys and then Paisley. And she came to me at the end of 2023. Now, I want you to realise that the cattle market had crashed that year. So cattle prices were at their lowest. And so I'm just going to share with you this recording of Andy and I. So I have this beautiful lady that actually works as part of my team now. Her name is Andy Bolton, and she has a pretty cool story. She first came to me in 2023, and I think it was a little bit before November or something around November. Anyway, I'm going to bring her on, and she is going to tell you some of the amazing things that have happened in life and since we started working together. So you come on in and tell us what life was like before and what led up to you coming to and playing with us that training back in 2023.
2023, hi, awesome, Paul. Thank you for having me. Thank you, everybody. Yes, I had to do a little bit of thinking today when you asked me to do the interview, because I was like, wow, go back that far. It feels like a lifetime ago, if I'm honest. So my name is Andy Bolton, and I am a wife and a mum to 3 kids, and we own a cattle station in North Queensland, and that's basically all I've done my whole life. Just a bit of background story. Leading up to coming to work with you guys and the training, life felt really heavy, like I was on a rat wheel race in life. Every circumstances just didn't seem to be working for us. I was getting caught up in quite a lot of negativity at our local school that was dragging me down. I was drowning all those thoughts with alcohol. I had quite high anxiety. I didn't have a very good relationship with my husband. He seemed to be picking me up off the ground all the time instead of us supporting each other. And I could notice that my kids were quite picking up on my anxiety, and it was affecting their relationships with their friends, with their school, they were worried about their mum because, I looked really good on the outside, but when I got home, it just all used to fall apart. So right up before I turned up with you, I'd had a bit of a health scare. The cattle market had crashed to the absolute worst it had been in about, I don't know, it was about 30 years. It was pretty rough. And my husband and I were at the point of we just had no idea how we were going to get through the next 12 months, the way the world was, and it was projected the prices were going to be. And I was in a state, if I'm honest with you. Now, I had a friend of mine who I think she was working with you at the time, and she was telling me all about this Polly lady, and she invited me into your group, and in coming into the group, I received a free program called Elevate. Now, it used to get emailed to me once a day, and anyway, I was just like, oh my God, not even gonna, this is too hard. I haven't got time for this because just touching on previously, I have tried psychologists, I have taken medication, I've tried oil, I have tried so many other things before joining you, and I was at the point where something has to work. I have to find something to work, or I actually don't know if I would be here today, and that's really hard to say, but that's where I was when I first come to you. So I started doing Elevate after one night I'd had another meltdown and Stumpy was looking after the kids, and I started doing Elevate, and I thought, this lady's making a bit of sense to me. Like, this sounds exactly like me. She's been where I've been, okay, and I've always been a really big thinker. I just was never able to control my thoughts. They'd always run away with me into the negative situation. So you speaking about controlling your thoughts and thinking about what you want, and I was like, oh, this is a bit cool. So and then I signed, it was only 4 days later you had a training, and it cost us $50, and I signed up, and the rest is history. That's the best way to put it. But that's where I was previous to coming to work with you and your beautiful team.
Yeah. So tell us about the day that you made a decision, or you and I had a call first. Tell us about that, and then the decision that came after.
Yeah. So I did the training, and it was the first time I fully invested like that time into myself. Like, I give the training my all. I turned up for the lives. I did the homework. I just thought, this has to work. So I was really invested in it. And my husband actually at the time got into day 3, and he was like, what are you doing? Why are you doing all this work? Like, what? And I was like, no, I'm doing this for me. So that call to action was book a call. So I was like, rightio, I'm doing this full out. So I booked a call with you, and you just made so much sense to me. I could see that there was people, friends of mine, that were having extraordinary results. They were just so happy with life, and I just remember thinking, how the friggin' hell do they do this? Like, but you just made so much sense. You let me talk about what I was sort of struggling with at the time, but you were like, no, we can change all this. We can change it. And something in me, I'm so proud of her and I'm so grateful to her, but something in me just went, you have to do this, and you have to sign up for this, for this course, because you've got no other option. Like, you've got no other option. And so you give me the price, and I was like, oh my God, this is so scary for me, because I never spent that sort of money on myself ever. I was flat out getting my hair done. I would buy myself nice clothes, but even going out for a girls' weekend, if I got time, I felt guilty. Wouldn't get my nails done. Yeah, so spending that much money on me investing in myself was so uncomfortable. But I knew I had to do it, and because my husband and I are a partnership, we share our money. So I went and asked him, was it okay if I invested this money in me? And I remember going downstairs and I was crying, and I'm like, I just have to do this, Stumpy. I just have to do this. And he's like, okay, bub, because he smokes and he drinks, and I can see he likes his rum and Coke, and it was a Saturday, and I could see him sitting at the table, and he's got his smoke in his mouth with his rum in his hands, and he was so cool about it. He was just like, it's all right, bub. We can spend the money on you. It'll be all right. And he tells me it was a joke, but I don't think it was. Like, what come after was, he goes, okay, we can give you the money to invest in yourself. But he said, but I get to have that same amount of money to buy a stallion, because he's into his horses and he wants a really well-bred horse. So that was my deal that I cut with my husband to let me do the course. Now, I will be honest with you. We did have the money in the bank, but that money was reserved for our business running and raising kids, and it had depleted much more under the comfortable amount we were at, and it was Christmas time, like you said. It was in November. It was Christmas time, and it was a really nerve-wracking time. So that money that I spent on myself, at the time we were like, well, we could use it for something else, for our business, and we didn't know where the rest of the money was going to come from with the state of the cattle market. So, yeah. And I'm happy to say that it was only 3 months later that he got his stallion. So
in that 3 months, you'd replenished what you took out so that he could.
Yeah, that's exactly right. After it was 3 weeks with you doing TIR. Like I said, I'm a mum, a wife. I only run cattle all my life, and I landed myself an office job in town. So that in 3 months paid for my course.
Hang on. So you didn't apply for a job though?
No, that's exactly right. I didn't apply for a job. A friend of ours rang me and said, I've got this position available. Would you like to do it for me? She was running for council for the mayor position in Townsville, and I was going to be her campaign manager. And she rang me. Yeah, that's exactly what happened. She rang me, and I, being confident enough and doing working with you guys, I said yes, and that's something I had never ever done before. There was so much fear attached, even just accepting that job.
Yeah.
Because I was a big what if person. Yeah, negatively.
Yeah, it's easy, hey, to play the what if game against ourselves.
Yeah.
Okay, so now tell us the difference in life with Andy now, or even back then, 12 months later after you've finished thinking into results and being with us for a bit.
Oh God, it's incredible. What's the Well, it's just huge. It's amazing. We have so much more fun in our life. My family and Stumpy and kids, we just have so much more fun with life. I am so not scared of money at all now. If I'm honest, there's probably less money in the bank than there was when I first joined TIR, but I just know the money always turns up, and we spend more. We have more fun with money now than we did previously. I was so scared of it that it had to be just all balled up in like a ball and you couldn't get rid of it. Whereas now I'm just like, oh, it'll just turn up when it turns up. So an example is we last year from our outside income, we do a bit of outside work as well, not just from our cattle. So our outside income went from $30,000 a year to $150,000 in 12 months. Thank you. That's just one something. Another result we got was our steers that we send to the sale. Usually once a year, they've topped the sale consistently in a row twice, and that's something Stumpy and I have never done for the 15 years that we'd been in business. It's always something we wanted to do, but we were never able to achieve it. But with working with you, we've done it twice in a row, and that's out of about 4,000 head in the sale on the day. So there's so many other things. I was talking to Stumpy before coming on here, and he's like, what about this one and what about this one? There's so many. We've created our own economy. There was one time we sold steers, and this buyer rang us, or this idea came to us. So we rang this buyer, and no worries, we're interested in your steers. So we did the contract, sold them, agreed on a price, sent them away. Everyone was happy. And then the next week they were supposed to go to a sale. If we didn't sell them, they were going to the sale at Jarvis Dow's. And when we calculated it all back, we actually made an extra $10,000 by selling our steers privately than going to the sale. So there's just some of the things that we've been able to do in our business to help us. Yeah, just move forward. Yeah, it's just not scary anymore. Yeah, it's exciting. I'm so excited about manifesting things for our business, money for our business. Yeah.
What about home lifestyle? The mum.
Home lifestyle is really awesome. My husband, Stumpy, and I have much better supportive relationship now. I feel like I'm supporting him through it. I'm there if he needs me now, whereas before I was just a bit of a mess. Anxiety was taking control. With my kids, I have been able to teach them how to have a good attitude, how to be grateful for things, and how to just enjoy life and progress through it with ease. They've just gone to boarding school. I have the twin boys, 12. They've just gone to boarding school, and everybody asks me, oh, how's it going? And I say to them, it couldn't have gone any better. They are just thriving. They're loving it. They're turning into little men, and we're so proud of them. And, just being able to change the way I think about things. I just trust the process a lot more, and I'm understand that if I think about it the right way, it will turn up. So you're consistently thinking about the good results you want, especially with them at boarding school, and you can teach them to think about the result they want too. So I had this little story. I remember when this is how it changed with the kids. When I first started doing your work, we were driving to swimming lessons, and one of my sons said to me, Mum, and we're coming into Townsville, and there's all this cleared land, and it's near the beach, and it's probably really expensive, and I don't know if it'll ever come up for sale. But he said to me, Mum, I'm going to buy this one day. And the previous me before working with you would have said all those things. She would have said, oh, mate, that's not possible. It's too expensive. That's council land. That's this, that's that, and squashed his little dream. But I remember driving, and I was like, I just looked at him and I said, yeah, mate, if you want to do that, you can. And then he's like, no. And then he thought about something else, and he kept going on. But that was the biggest change for me with my children, was not to squash their imagination. Yeah, because I had been told a lot of those sorts of things as kids, like, you want to do something, but. So, yeah, it's been so awesome. Yeah, thank you.
Now, I know you didn't take that long to make a decision,
but
knowing what you know now and doing all of this, what would you say to that version of Andy that booked a call and jumped on a call?
Oh, I would just tell her, just bloody press that button, press that pay now button, because I was backwards and forwards a little bit for a couple of days with my credit card in the car, and I'm like, press the button to say paid, and now I would just say, just press the button. I would have got off that call for you, just logged straight onto the computer and just paid the money.
And what would you have done with Stumpy?
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, now I probably wouldn't even ask him. That's really bad, isn't it?
Well, it's not. You shouldn't have to ask.
That's right.
It's the belief, hey? When you have that belief that the money will just come in, what do we have to ask for?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, honey, I'm just doing this. No worries. We know that.
That's so true. And that's how much confidence I've grown in. If you look at the me before and then me now, I wouldn't even ask him. I'd just go and do it, because he's seen the huge change, and he's had growth as well. And everyone in my family's had growth.
Once you, and especially when you're the head of the family, or we've just got people around you, they tune into your energy. You become a magnet, and you magnetize yourself to other people. And if our family just has to change. Yeah,
exactly. And my family have changed for the better, and I'm so proud of them. And it's just been the most amazing journey. And I know I had, like I said, I had the money, but we didn't know where it was going to come from to pay for it, because we already had it allocated to other areas. It really does just turn up. It really does. Even now, it still sometimes gets a little bit sticky in our business, but I just have full faith that it will always turn up, and it always does. Stump reminded me before too that we, at the end of last year, we're getting a bit nervous again, but we're really good at this now. And I broke it down. I said, we just need 30 grand a month. We just need 30 grand a month. Stuffy will be fine. It's all going to be fine. And even me, we did that. We did 30 grand a month for 5 months without any cattle sales. It was the longest we had ever gone without any cattle sales. We did 30 grand a month. We kept the bank account above where we wanted it to be, and everything just worked out. And don't ask me where it came from, because it just come from wherever we wanted it. But we had a belief, and we had a desire, and we thought about it, and were positive about it, and just got excited about any little bit of money that come in. We were just so grateful and excited, and
and that's one of the things, because I know you've done Money Magnet as well. If you find 5 cents, you celebrate it like it's 5 grand or 50,000. Don't just discount it. Go, I'm not picking that up. We've got to have respect for it and treat it like a person sometimes.
Yeah, for sure. That's it. Yeah, and Stumpy had even at the start of the year, he had a job, and he went to the farrier track to do barriers or something, and he was a bit disappointed in the amount of money he got paid. He got paid $250, and he was like, I'm never doing that again. And I was like, that's all right, it's $250. And then in January, I was doing all our calculations, and I wanted the 30 grand again, and that $250 was what tipped us over the 30. So I was so grateful for that $250. Like, yeah. And at that time, you don't know that that's going to be the difference between you winning, like you feeling like you've won.
Yeah.
But it all makes so much sense, and it all adds up. Yeah.
You can't join the dots just looking forward. Hey, it's only when you look back, you're like, oh, that had to happen, that had to happen, that had to happen.
Yeah.
Cool stuff. Is there anything else that you want to add?
No, I'm really good. Thanks, Paul. Anyone on here that's sitting on the fence, just book the call, have the call, and then, I think it gets said all the time though, but just pay the money. If you can feel that you need to do it for you and you want change more than anything, it is the one thing that will change your life. Sorry, that's I'm getting a bit emotional. It will change your life. I remember thinking, these people talk about this one thing that changed their life, and I'm like, where the frig is it? Well, I found it, and I changed my life. So thank you, Paul. If that's you watching this, just go and do it, because you will change your life.
And this is Andy Bolton, everybody, part of my Limitless Lady team. She will be one of the people that will be supporting you along with me and helping you through this, because you have to do it by yourself, but you can't do it. Sorry, you have to do it for yourself, but you can't do it by yourself. You need support. I know, like, without you guys, I wouldn't be where I am without the support that I have from you all. So,
yeah. No, I agree, Polly. Yeah, and I never had support either. I know Kylie mentioned that yesterday. I never really had any support either. It was just me on my own, and I now understand why I didn't finish things, and it was because I didn't have the support. So, yeah.
People just cheering you on, like, you can do it, come on. Okay.
For sure.
Cool stuff.
All right.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you so much, Polly.
Oops. Here I am. Now, the thing that Andy and I may have said a little bit badly there was that you have to do this for yourself, but we don't have to do it by ourselves. And that's a huge shift to make there. And I know I wouldn't be here without the support that I've had with through my coaches that I've had along the way, and also with my team, with my husband, with my kids. You know, there was some moments there where my kids would say, I thought you were supposed to be getting better, like when I've done something, I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm doing the best that I can here. Like, can you just, and then I do the do-over, and they're like, oh, yeah, good work, Mum, good job. So, you know, there's always that push to do better. And like, just think, everything starts with a decision, like what I taught on Monday. So like, Sue made a decision. Okay, I'm not going to stay here. I'm going to move. I'm going to take different actions. And now she's a chicken rancher. Claudia, just think about it. Cleared her debt, bought the car, bought the butcher shop. Now is got the $1 million contract, and now is doing what she wants to do. Now, there's something that a lot of people say too, like, how much time is this going to take? I'm already busy. I just want to ask you something. Has being busy broken through the ceiling for you? It doesn't. You have to change. And change is really bloody scary. And this is why we need accountability and we need direction. Because you know what? You can take action and then go in the wrong direction. It doesn't get you to your goal. So that's pretty much this week. We are about to jump into Zoom very shortly. But let's just go through what you've done. You've named the ceiling. You've seen what's holding it up. You've faced the wall. Some of you have gone through that terror barrier, and I'm sure a lot of you have, and just not been so public about it. I know that. And you've looked at your money, honestly. Like, you've really created maybe a new thought about money. And this morning, you're going to take some time and you're going to write the person you're becoming. Now, let's just be honest about what happens next. For some of you, this is where it stops. You're like, yep, got it all, no worries. And then on Monday, you're just going to go back to whatever you were doing before and nothing will change. But for a few of you, that won't happen. I work with people for 12 months. Why 12 months? Because it takes time to turn around 30, 40, 50 years of going one way and start to change your thinking to go another way. And I'll be really straight with you. I do not believe that you can do this on your own. I couldn't do it on my own, and I'm one of the strongest willed people I know. But it took me 15 years to give up smoking. When I decided what needed to change in my life, I started changing within 2 days. I stopped drinking, I stopped being that person, I stopped all the things that I knew I couldn't keep doing. So 12 months can feel like a long time with people. And, you know, in the comfort zone is the most dangerous place that we can be. I sat there for 8 years. Yep, didn't really hurt. But I wanted so much more. Some people say, oh, I just can't afford that. That's okay. We have payment plans. We have lifestyle finance that can help you if you're that way inclined. And I want you to think about this. You can walk to where you want to go. You can ride a bike. Or you can invest in a car. And what a car does, or even an aeroplane, gets you there a whole lot faster and you've got time to spare. That's what having a coach helps you with. Now, you know that an athlete cannot get to the Olympics without a coach. Why? Because they probably just keep doing the same thing and they're not going to push themselves. They're not going to get out of the place that they're in now. They need someone on the outside to tell them what to do. You're the same. You may not be going for the Olympics, or maybe you are, but you're going to need somebody to help you. So remember, everything comes down 8 p.m. Monday night. I will be drawing today's winners, and anybody that gets in and does some work, you are in the draw as well. I do not do extensions, because if I leave things up forever, maybe you'll do this work by November, or maybe you'll get to it in January. That's not going to help you. It comes down Monday night, 8 o'clock. If you don't change, nothing will change. So the only question left for you is, are you going to do it on your own, or are you going to ask us for help? Because I know I do so much better when I have somebody beside me helping me through. So if you haven't booked your call yet, now's your chance. Because remember, that ability to do that goes away at 8 o'clock Monday night too. So we are about to go and jump in Zoom. But actually, I just want to read this one thing to you. I have this poem. Oh, thank you, Lisa. Lisa is now a lifetime member. And that's available to people too. So every single, this is just something that really helped me right in the beginning, and it's the one and only you. Every single blade of grass, every flake of snow is just a wee bit different. There's no two alike, you know. From something small like grains of sand to each gigantic star. All were made with this in mind, to be just what they are. How foolish then to imitate, how useless to pretend. Since each one of us comes from a mind whose ideas never end. There'll only be just one of me to show what I can do, and you'll likewise feel very proud. There's only one of you. That is where this all starts, with you, a wonderful, unlimited human being. So, now it's up to you. We're going to go into Zoom and I'm going to answer any of your questions. Don't hold back. Turn your cameras on. Come in there like the person you want to be. And I'll see you there. All right. Thanks so much, everybody. Thanks so much.